Can you believe this model was created in just 5 seconds? Seriously, take a look. And here we go. That was insanely fast. 6 seconds? What? This is insane. Today we're gonna review updates of my favorite 3D AI tool, which actually set a new level of quality. I'm gonna judge it objective and we're gonna compare it with best tools like Hunyuan or Rodin. Watch this video until the end and you will be quite surprised how good it is right now. This is the tool that I use basically every day together with my team to do commercial projects and for my personal projects. And I'm gonna show you my own workflow right now, and I even gonna compare it with Hunyuan Workflow so you see why exactly I'm choosing Tripo. Let's go. Alright guys, we do have Tripo updated and they rolled quite a lot of things in the recent months, and I must make a video about it because basically this is the best 3D AI, and I could even say this is next-gen AI because they basically did so much improvements for geometry details, for textures, for retopology. I mean, this is really usable for production right now. I really use it daily. So most recent update is exactly about Smart Mesh. Basically, they separated topology option. So instead of setting to create it as a smart low poly, this is basically Smart Mesh. The coolest thing, I mean, I don't know how to say about it, is that it really takes just 5 seconds or around it. So it also depends on the internet connection. This is insane. I did some tests already and I couldn't believe it. This is absolutely cool. One more thing that might not be obvious that really makes my life easier and my team life easier is that we can start with the mesh step. So for example, before the only alternative was Hunyuan, and here you have to generate high poly model first or upload your own high poly model, and only then you can actually low poly it. And even though quality was good, it was so difficult to use this pipeline and you're spending like quite a lot of time on it. And then before texturing you also need to go UV, so basically you cannot merge these steps, and texturing inside Hunyuan 3D Studio fairly sucks. We never basically use the texturing here. We actually was using Tripo texturing and then fixing that in Modif. Right now you can basically create a mesh here, make sure you like it, you can do some variations, then you can go to texture tab and basically generate a texture. And Tripo texturing right now with their recent update to 3.1 is probably the best. I mean, if you ask me what AI generator I'm gonna use Tripo, and then I'm gonna use Modif to fix some stuff because there is no 100% perfect. For example, the real case is text. So here's one of the example. You can see some text here and it basically is not correct. But overall, texture and material is amazing. So we usually take this as a base and then we go fix some text or maybe some small issues. But usually again, text, logos, all that things is very easy to fix in Modif. You can also fix it in Tripo and it is quite good but less advanced. And here I just created a texture. By the way, there is a shading option that you can switch to preview it like it's smooth. So usually in engine it will be rendered like that, but this gives you an idea of polygons. So I usually turn it to smooth to see the real picture. Another cool thing here is that, I mean, you really need to have everywhere else is that you can upscale, which will add more details, but you can also add a PBR. The cool thing about it is that you can load your model with image texture and add a PBR, and it costs almost nothing in terms of credits. 5 credits is approximately 3 cents. And here we go with the results. I mean, that's amazing. That's just true. So you can see like how it looks with and without, looks just cool. Now about the costs, which is very important. And for people who might think that Hunyuan is actually free or you can run any local model, trust me, I tried all of them hundreds of times. And eventually I better pay 30 cents to save 2 hours of time fixing something. And I'm gonna show you full comparison of my workflow with Tripo and my workflow, which I used before in Hunyuan, and you'll decide which one is better. So in Tripo, HD mesh costs around 30 cents, and low poly mesh together with texturing will cost you approximately the same. But smart mesh alone costs around 20 cents. Now, if you try to do this with Hunyuan 3D Studio, it is yet free, but you might wait in queue quite a lot. There is no priority or stuff. Sometimes we were waiting like for 30 minutes to create one model. Sometimes it's like just 3 to 5 minutes, which is okay, but AI can fail, and normally you do like 2-3 rerun. But I know for sure soon it will be paid, and you already might know how much it will cost. For example, you can go to Full AI, and here in 3D to 3D you can find this Hunyuan 3D 3.1 Smart Topology. And how do you guess how much it costs? 20 cents? 30 cents? 50 cents? Maybe it costs 0? No guys, it costs 0.75. That's almost reaching $1, and this is only for Retopology. So it basically provides high poly mesh and then Retopology. You cannot provide image and get a topology. So the price difference is significant if you want to use it by API or you really want to automate your workflow with agents and stuff. And if you calculate the total price of the asset generated with Hunyuan from like creating high poly Retopology texture, that will be almost $1.5 compared to Tripo 30 cents. Insane. But what's more important than money is time. And when I'm gonna show you my workflow, you'll see the drastic difference. But before that, let's review some examples and compare them across the engine. Let's take this guy. Look cool, a lot of details. Let's compare geometry in Tripo, Hunyuan, and Rodin. Okay, let's start with Hunyuan. So I used 3.1, I used max setting. You can see the 1.5 million. Here is the result. Okay, so on surface, look okay. You can see like quite interesting texture, but let's remove all of that and see the geometry. In fact, there is not that much details, even though Hunyuan 3.1 was meant to bring those more details. And the face literally sucks. Other than that, not bad, but the details are also quite simplified. Let's take a look on Rodin. I like Rodin. They do quite a lot of cool features, but their foundational model is not that good. So take a look on the face. It's definitely not the face I expect. Oh well, the problems here and here is not good. Well, and yeah, here with the katana is absolutely failed. And let's take a look on Tripo. Here we go. Quite a lot of details you can see on the back, and look, the details are quite logical. First of all, look here and here, they are in place. Okay, the texture look quite detailed, but how about we take a look purely on details? And this is insane. Look at the face and amount of details. Look at the details everywhere. Here, 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 here. I mean, like going back to Hunyuan, it's not even close. This is absolutely cool. And I do have more example. Like, look at this steampunk stuff. Wow. That's absolutely cool. You can see the reference image that I used here. It does fail with text, but every 3D AI basically fail with text. And I usually add up like modif where I can easily fix that. I do have some videos on my channel about it. Other than that, this is a beautiful work. I mean, some parts, of course, you might want to fix and address some floating piece here, but this is absolutely insane. For simpler props, they are almost flawless. Look at this. You basically take this asset and drop into the game. Again, these assets I was creating through HD model as Ultra. And if you're happy with them, you can of course go to Retopo and choose Smart Low Poly to basically convert it to low poly. Also, the cool thing about it is that it will bake normal map, preserving details. In Hunyuan, for whatever reason, you can't do that, is that it's split in some steps. And as I said, texture generation there is way behind. Here are more examples, and I mean, I'm genuinely surprised how far we're going to it. The content I'm planning is about how to build games instead of how to polish assets for a long time. More examples. This one is quite tricky because there's 4 hands and each hand has 5 fingers. And what do you think? Look, 5 fingers here, 5 fingers here, 5 fingers here, and here. I mean, that's freaking cool. One complaint though is that shading should be smooth by default. in my opinion. And you can see how good PBR actually, how much PBR adds. So here is a drone. Wow, this is so cool. You can basically work with it right away. No PBR, PBR. Guys, I don't even want to say anything. Just look how cool it is. Here we go with the scepter. Also quite fantastic job. Look on the amount of details. Super, super cool. Small dragon. Amazing job. Look at the skin texture. All the stuff. Like, it is basically done with geometry. Quite accurate. Proportions are very important. Here is more complex example. Look how good it is. This is just amazing. I mean, of course, normally I would split it into the parts anyway, because I'll need to animate it manual and stuff. And for perfect results, you might need to tweak it. But as a starting point, this is insane results. You can take part of it, adjust, combine, and you're basically moving 10 times faster than before. And here's how it looks with the materials, like, ooh, quite shiny. Look how cool it is. Wow. And here is this optimized model. Look how good it is. Look at the finger, for example. Boom. Each finger, separate mesh, nicely done, optimized. I think that's insane. Let's take a look at the very complex example. Here we go. And this is absolutely insane. Look how good it is. What I'm personally really impressed is that all parts are logical. There's not just plenty of details. Details are where they are expected. Look at the back. I did not provided that back. I used this reference. There were no back view. Even though is actually amazing result. Look at the skin. I think this is absolutely cool. And one final example before I show you my workflow. Again, proportions are really important, and here they look great. That's why this character look great. And actually make a note on that. So now let me show you my workflow that I currently use and my team use when we do YouTube videos, when we create assets for games. We do some manual fixes all the time. There are small details there and there. But with this, we are moving 10 times faster than any traditional approach. I'm gonna show you that in Tripo and in Hunyuan, and you decide which one is better. We're gonna of course take Mr. Mark from Pixie Blinder series. It's my favorite guy. I actually recommend to use multi-view for smart mesh because here it actually improved the quality. I'm gonna go for 10K polygons. Quad's not yet available, but we can work with triangles for now. Definitely might use quads when available. And I'm gonna press generate the model. And just 5 seconds later, I already have it done. And it looks cool. I mean, eyes, all that stuff, small details here. Yes, of course, it might not work out right away, but you do have 3 retries. So eventually it's gonna work. I'm gonna use this for now. The next step usually is a texture, right? So I'm just gonna go to texture tab and press texture. This one usually take around 1 minute, but I'm totally okay to wait because the quality actually worth it. So it was even slightly below 1 minute. Let's turn the smooth shading and the result is amazing. So I actually like the clock here. I mean, make a lot of sense. And yeah, no visible artifacts here. Everything clean and smooth. You might notice that my reference has these shades, but the generated result doesn't have them. This is actually good. It doesn't bake the light. So this light can be added in game engine. Now, the last step here, which is optional and depend on the character, is adding PBR, and also, by the way, you can upscale it. You can also fix some textures here, but this works for fixing general issues. Again, yet this is very simple one. Gonna be honest, I'm not using it because one major reason, I cannot add my own image here as a reference. But the tool itself is very convenient. So you can optionally upscale it or do PBR, and PBR is extremely useful. And as I said, you can drop your own model. Let's say you fixed the texture. We usually drop it to Motif to fix some stuff or add some text. Then drop it back here, generate PBR, and that's done. And we are ready to go animated. And here's the AI part. It took me less than 2 minutes to get everything done and move to the next steps. And of course, guys, I got promo code for you for 500 free credits. That's quite a lot. Link and the promo code in the description. Use it. It's really worth it. It's really the best tool right now. Now, here's how I used to do it in Hunyuan Studio. Before, it was the best option available. So we're gonna go to Studio and we're gonna need to create high poly geometry first because we're gonna need base to do low poly around it. Hunyuan Studio is not available globally, so I have to use Chinese website. Sometimes even uploading files is a nightmare because it uploads to Chinese servers, and yeah, sometimes when you upload your model into low poly model, it depending on the size, it might take to 10 minutes just to upload the model there before you can press the button. Actually, let me know in the comments who faced the same issue. Now we can generate the model. Okay, so we need to refresh the page. Yeah, it basically started. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna need to wait. Let's wait. Okay, so finally, yeah, I don't know why it goes from 6% to 100 immediately, but maybe because it only creates geometry in this mode, right? Okay, so next step here is to create low poly model. We're gonna go to low poly. So this one is already selected. And right away, the difference that we see here, you cannot really control the polygon. Sometimes it is actually important. Let's say you're creating avatar for Roblox. You need to fit 10K triangles, let's say. Here, it's quite difficult. I'm gonna go with medium, and I also gonna choose trees. By the way, trees are most often better than quads in Hunyuan, but quads are also good. Well, that was the longest part, and we even skip the queue, and sometimes queue adds up the time. So topology is good, but it also often fails and you have to regenerate. I do have dedicated video about it, and you'll see that Tripo, Hunyuan and Rodin, they're pretty much on the same level in terms of topology quality. And if they're pretty much the same, time is really important. At Rodin, for example, that might take even more, and unfortunately, Rodin cannot process all type of meshes. It sometimes just basically rejects it. Really, what you can use is Tripo and Hunyuan. Now, the next step is go to UV unfolding and press this button so we get nice UV. This step hopefully will be faster, and UV is quite good. And UV might be quite good, but sometimes you still will need to fix it manually. It might be too stretched or stuff. Cheapo use X Atlas, which for most of the tasks is still fine if you're not intent to do a lot of manual editing. And finally, we are moving to the image step. So here we're gonna select multi-image, the same images that we use for generation. Let's press generate instantly, but that's not gonna be instant. And finally, we are here. So it usually creates PBR texture right away. And this is our final results. This was done in almost 10 minutes. And to be transparent with you, we almost never use the texture from Hunyuan. We either use texture that is created together with the asset is better than texturing alone. We usually took the model with UV to the modif, for example, or Tripo, and fixed the texturing there. And now, guys, question for you, which one you like the more? I think you know what is my choice. So this took me less than 2 minutes, and we need to understand they will be never 100% perfect. So if you save time on creation, so if you do these iterations fast, that basically speeds you up. This took me 5 times more, almost 10 minutes, and this result will require me way more fixes, especially texture, and texture is the most annoying part overall. Right now, 100% unbiased, my personal opinion is Tripo best for texturing, but it requires manual tweaks, and with my team we either do that manually or we use modif for adding text. Also with Tripo you do have polygon control, and as I said, in reality it is way cheaper than Hunyuan. I would say like 5 times cheaper. this whole character recalculated in dollars will be around $0.35. And this one will be almost $1.5 if you are not using it to 3D Tencent and if you use it like through API. Really want to know what you think in the comments, guys. That was it for today. Hope you liked the video. Hope you learned something new. Like and subscribe and see you in the next video.